Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video with the Arsmoth. Last episode we had the introduction of the Skywings and the Rainwings, and there was a very quick revolution, if you can call it that, or like an overthrow, or it technically is a revolution of the new Skywing kingdom. Last episode I did also say that we were going to name the kingdoms. But because I'm absolutely terrible at coming up with names, it has taken me longer than normal to come up with names. So let's focus on the new Skyrim kingdom under Queen Tourmaline. So after what happens quietens down, Queen Tourmaline will focus on a few aspects. She'll focus on resource gathering. She will focus on making sure that a new medical center is constructed to help the wounded and like her wounded soldiers and the wounded prisoners. But again, like I said last episode, she's not going to be like a mother where she's going to have them killed off for treason and whatnot. She will punish the loyalists, but I doubt that all of the Skywings who were under Queen's Guard's control, who actually pushed in to try and reclaim control of this kingdom, will remain as loyalist Scarlet followers. So the Tourmaline's ranks, Tourmaline army numbers, sorry, will probably increase, not by a lot, but you could have a few Skywings defect to Queen Tourmaline's side. And while that's going on, she will send out more Skywings to take over the rest of what is Italy, and then she will probably get news that two rather large islands have been located off the southern coast of. We will probably have to start naming these areas. Probably like splitting them up into like sections, so you probably have like different sections and whatnot. And so Queen Tourmaline, after she's told that there are two land masses off the coast, off the southern coast of her kingdom, she sends out a group of a reasonably large group, probably 25 or 50 dragons, Skywings off to the northernmost island, and they land and they very quickly take over the island. This happens in most likely a time period of 2-3 months, and by then they have taken over both the islands. So the Skyrim Kingdom, well, not the Skyrim Kingdom, but Tourmaline's kingdom will definitely expand. She will aim to expand her borders some more and just overall make sure that her kingdom is safe. But as she expands more northwards to secure more of her kingdom foothold, they will quickly notice that there is another coast coming up reasonably quickly. And so a dragon is sent back to the capital or the palace, and this messenger tells Tourmaline of what they have spotted northwards, and then she tells the messenger to fly back to the dragons or the Skywings, which are north, to continue pushing north and take control of quite a lot of the coast, just take over as much as they can. And so they do so, and they take it over reasonably smartish. Like so. So now they have split Europe in two, and the Tourmaline's kingdom, I keep wanting to call it Skyrim kingdom, I do apologise, but Tourmaline kingdom has grown quite a bit. Queen Scarlet, who is going to be quite upset of being overthrown in her new expansion of her kingdom. She is most likely going to try and push for another raid again. And she's going to push through, and she is going to push northward. She's going to tell her troops to push northward, and they are going to push very quickly. This is going to be a sudden assault, and this is going to catch Tourmaline and her kingdom off guard. But she's going to very quickly organize her army, and they are going to swoop in from to the palace and make sure that the palace is just secure, and then they're going to take control of the portal very quickly and just cut off Scarlet's reinforcements, so she can't reinforce her forces which are already in Tourmaline's control. But these Scarlet loyalists, they're going to carry on pushing because they are now realize, probably after a few weeks, that reinforcements are not going to come, and so they're going to make a beeline for the coast. They're just going to carry on going north until they find this coast, and so they're going to make a beeline while Tourmaline's forces are going to be pushing and occupying the land that Scarlet's forces took over. And in the most desperate attempt, they are going to fly across the ocean to get away from Tourmaline's forces. There have been quite a few deaths on either side, but not as many as if it was under Scarlet, of course. But the escapees land in southeast England, or United Kingdom, or the British Isles. But by then, Tourmaline's forces have pushed very aggressively, and right now the Scarlet loyalists are at threat of either becoming prisoners of war or being killed, because Tourmaline is now, well, she is annoyed. She is very frustrated that her mother has tried another daring attack and just thrown skywings at her forces. And she thinks that it is daft. She thinks that it is not a clever move on her mother's part. And she honestly feels a little bit, she doesn't want to kill all these skywings. So she takes quite a few prisoner, but the rest do I do apologise. The rest do escape over the channel, which the skywings now know is not that far. And so the Scarlet loyalists, they instate a settlement of their own, and they then very quickly put a because they have no queen, they will be under control of most likely the dragon who was in charge of this force that was sent through. So the capital of this new settlement is set up, and so now you have a quite a large collection, or quite a large number of Scarlet loyalists who have been able to escape Tourmaline's forces over the English Channel and have landed on the southeastern part of the British Isles. And so they install their own capital because they won't have a queen. They will most likely, if the leader is a female, a dragoness, then they will probably install her as queen, because currently they are unable to get to the portal to rejoin with their mother kingdom. So they have no way of contacting home, basically. So Tourmaline takes her fresh prisoners of war back to their kingdom, and she puts them into the prison, into the Alp prison, along with the other prisoners. And during this time, more and more prisoners, not many, but it's been a slow trickle of prisoners, have defected over to her side because it's either they've lost hope in being saved, or they were neutral about Scarlet. They didn't like her, but they didn't dislike her. But now that they are completely cut off from the Skyrim Kingdom, and they are within the borders of Tourmaline's kingdom, they what's the word? They they declare their loyalty to Queen Tourmaline. So Queen Tourmaline's forces are slowly growing. The population is slowly growing through Skyrim dragonesses laying eggs, and Scarlet loyalists who have been captured are slowly defecting over to her, because again, it's either they know that they're never going to get home, or they didn't really like Scarlet to begin with, or they were just neutral. They didn't like her. It wasn't the fact that they didn't like her, but again, it wasn't the fact that they liked her. They were completely neutral. But now, because Tourmaline is shown to be more of the respectful queen, because she's showing to be more of the leader, because she's showing to have more of a heart to actually care for the prisoners and not treat them as just like, as Scarlet would probably say, sacks of meat, or just like play toys or whatnot. Then when I say play toys, I mean for the arena. So Tourmaline will be looked up at as this queen who is perfect in every way. But Tourmaline knows that she's not perfect in every way, and she's trying her best. But Tourmaline, after this second failed raid attempt by her mother's forces, she will probably send some more Skyrings up north, and they will push north along the coast and follow the coast to this jutted out piece of land, which in the human era would be Denmark, but the dragons don't know that, and so they take it over. But they also take over this island here, because they can see it from the coast when they branch off here. And so they've expanded a little bit more, they've completely taken over the Italian peninsula. They have Tourmaline hasn't really focused on like pushing down south through what would be Spain and Portugal, but she has told her forces to push a little bit harder and just take over more of what would be France. So they take quite a bit more territory and just expand their forces. But then she tells them to completely halt expanding. They don't need to expand anymore because she doesn't want to stretch her forces and her population too thin. And to counter this, what she does, which is quite clever, is she installs effectively. If I just make like the if I just make that a little bit, right, there you go, and then just cover that up with that, and then I'm gonna put like she orders that a smaller settlement is built to the south, and a trade route is constructed, and then a settlement down in the southern portion of Italy is also constructed. I copy that. Yeah. Oop, my bad. And then one is constructed down south, so I'll put that down south here. And the reason why she does this is because it's to honestly retain control. So she wants to retain control over her expanded kingdom. And honestly, her kingdom's getting quite large. It is getting quite large indeed. So, going back to the Rainwings. The Rainwings have been busy, and they have been certainly busy. Grandeur has been keeping in touch with Queen Glory and telling her of all the things that they've been up to. And Grandeur has been expanding the borders of the Rainwing Kingdom a lot more inland, and just securing more and more of the rainforest. And she realizes very quickly that the rainforest just keeps on going and keeps on going. She has no idea how expansive this continent is. She doesn't know. She doesn't know if there's any other types of dragons on here, and she doesn't know when the continent ends. And so she tells two groups of Rainwings, one to go to follow the coast northwards and just follow it until they reach here, and then they stop. And then one will push southwards. But after some time, they will stop. And the reason why of them stopping is because they don't want to get too far away from the main kingdom, because they know that they have left sort of like a trail behind, and they've made sure to make the trail noticeable enough so that if Grandeur, once Grandeur gets the news that they have indeed expanded and then they just stopped expanding, Grandeur will probably send some more Rainwings to expand so that they're not so confined to one area. And that will help the two exploration teams to restock with supplies and everything that they need, really. So And I don't think that they're gonna really expand that much more inland. Um, I don't think that the Raymond's would expand northwards, and the reason why is because there's not really any trees. They're more focused on the tree area. So Grandeur would definitely focus more on expanding um, inwards to the trees, and I think that this will be very crucial, um, just to make sure that they have a steady supply of food, but also just like with the with Tourmaline's kingdom, they will most likely um, install what is essentially, if I just make the Rainwing Palace bigger, they will most likely install um, small villages. So you could have one here, you could have one um, you could have one possibly here. You could have one maybe here, like here. And again, just like with Tourmaline, Grandeur isn't as worried about losing control of her kingdom. She's more worried about trade routes. And so she's going to most likely set up um, a village which is going to be relatively close to the palace, but is at the same time um, she's going to make sure that it's not too close and it's not too far away from the other small settlements. And then you probably get um, one down here as well. So this is the situation that we're in currently. Is the Rainwings and the Skywings, Tourmaline's kingdom and Grandeur's kingdom have expanded. They don't know anything of each other's existence. So this is going to get interesting. And then we're going to have the next load of forces or like kingdom coming. And they are going to be called the Ice Wings. And Glacier is going to have her forces come through. Oh dear. Come through the portal. And they are going to appear here. And they will set up a camp and send out forces to explore the area. And they will most likely want to make quite a large area, push very aggressively inland, and the reason why is because they want to set up a relatively large kind of like to call it capital palace kind of thing. So they would set that up reasonably quickly, and they would pull it probably around here in like the much colder area. And Queen Glacier, he will, to make sure that she doesn't lose full control of this new settlement, she's probably going to put one of her daughters in charge. Most likely Crystal. So Crystal's most likely going to be in charge. I don't think Snowfall will be in charge because I feel like Glacier, she is going to know that Snowfall's going to be able to like rule and whatnot, but Glacier would be training Snowfall to be the queen of the Ice Wings, not the queen of this new settlement. So, um, Crystal might be, she might be a little bit upset about, not being able to become queen and whatnot, but just like with um, Queen Glory, um, I don't think that Glacier wants to really tie down Crystal that quickly. So she will install Crystal as not a puppet queen of this new kingdom, but she will say to her that you have full reins of what to do, but make sure that you stay in contact because Glacier, she cares very much for her subjects. She cares very, 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 very much for her daughters, and she just wants to keep them, make sure that they are safe and whatnot. But at the same time, she wants to give them the choices that they want to do. And so when Crystal becomes queen, so it'll be Crystal, she will have full control of this new settlement. So it will have its full sovereignty and everything like that. She will most likely send out a scout force to take over quite a lot of the coast. So she would send 2 scout forces to on either direction, so east and west, to scout the coasts and whatnot. Meanwhile, as more ice wings come through, they will very slowly over the months expand more inland. Now, the ice wings, they will be loyal to Glacier, and so I don't think there will be any sort of revolution under Glacier's rule. If Glacier had put Tundra in charge of this new kingdom, which I don't think she would, because Tundra is she doesn't like Glacier that much. I think that there would definitely be like a massive what do you call it, revolution, and Tundra would just cut all ties. But Crystal wouldn't. Crystal would probably keep very good ties with her mother, and they would continue to expand and just continue to explore the frozen wasteland and explore the forests and everything like that. So we have the Icewind Kingdom. It's technically not the Icewind Kingdom. It's a branch off. It's under Crystal's control. So, probably sooner down the line, they might, like after like probably a couple of decades, they could potentially reclass themselves as. It all depends on like what happens, really. But probably in a good couple of decades, you could see this Icewind Kingdom change themselves from Icewings to probably something else, or they could stick with Icewings. It totally depends on on the relationship that the Mother Icewind Kingdom and this kingdom retains. Tourmaline, at the moment, she is still focusing on expanding, and during the time of the Icewind and the Icewind introduction and the Rainwings, she has completely taken control of the French peninsula. And now she has access to the Spanish as well as the more of the Mediterranean area. Oh dear, didn't me do that, sorry. Like so. So she's gonna most likely focus more on pushing into this new unfamiliar terrain, as well as keeping a very, very close eye on the loyalist Scarlet soldiers, and they have definitely pushed around, and they've taken over some more of the main island of the British Isles. So they now control most, if not all, of the southeast, and they are now pushing into the southwest. And their numbers have definitely grown by quite a bit. This is all in a time period of probably 10 years? 8-10 years? So by now, the war back home in the Wings of Our Universe has most likely quieted down, and tensions are going back down. They're not at their usual, neutral levels, but they are definitely going back down. The Skywings, they weren't victorious, but they weren't losers. The war ended in just this pointless long stalemate where both sides, they couldn't push through, and so it was essentially they signed an agreement to end the war, basically, because the war had been going on for quite a long while. So the war's over, and Tourmaline, who is relieved at that, but at the same time she's worried because now Scarlet has her hungry, evil eyes on the portal, which is very close to the capital. So what Tourmaline does is she takes her capital. Oops. She takes her capital. Actually, no, I could just erase it, can't I? She takes her capital and she moves it. She moves it further away from the portal, and she actually moves it to this area. Because she feels threatened by how close the portal is. And it is probably a good couple of weeks after they finished moving the capital, or the palace, that her instincts were absolutely right, because Scarlet forces suddenly appear out of the portal and they start pushing. But they start pushing northwards. But this time, unlike last time where Tourmaline's forces were surprised by the sudden attack. Tourmaline is ready, and she is very ready, and she sends her forces um, um, around, and they try and circle, but it's not quite fast enough, and Scarlet's forces are able to link up with the coast. This causes a problem, and this causes a massive problem because now the isolated Scarlet followers who are on the main island of the British Isles, they suddenly get a messenger from the Scarlet forces that have been able to push out the portal, and they've pushed northwest. And they're told that help has arrived, and that they can get like resources and whatnot. But then disaster strikes, and Tourmaline launches a full-on assault and of the coast, and she starts to push in from both sides, and she starts to essentially choke the Skywings of their presence in the coast. But the Skywings, because they're still able to push through the portal, and they bulk up the front lines here to make sure that they hold the portal. And once they know that they secure the front lines, then they push Skywings here. They're able to balance it out, and they can hold back Tourmaline's forces, and they know that if they can keep this up, they can potentially overthrow Scarlet's daughter. But the Skywings on the southern captured part of Tourmaline's land or kingdom, they get a little bit sloppy, and this is where things start to go south once again for Scarlet's forces. Tourmaline, who is quite a clever dragon, he notices that the loyalists, the Scarlet loyalists in the southern portion, they are looking rather upset. They're looking rather displeased because they're not getting the resources. All the resources are being funneled northwest to feed the troops northwest, and the colony or the settlement that has been formed in England. And before they can react, Tourmaline launches an absolutely massive raid, and she starts to push in very aggressively from all sides. And the Skywings, more northwestern, they are more fed, they're more driven to fight and whatnot. And they start to funnel some forces back down to where the portal is. But this is slightly too late, because Tourmaline's forces are just like at the coast. They are starting to choke the neck, if you will. But just before they can slice the choke, the forces are able to stabilize the line, and they make this very narrow corridor. Tourmaline's forces then start to bulk up on the front line, and they start to just encircle the two now blobs of red mass. This is not looking good for Scarlet's forces, because now they have to defend this narrow passage with their lives, even if it costs them their lives. They have to defend it. And so you have charge after charge after charge into Tourmaline's forces. Some of them are unsuccessful, but some of them do get some success. And so they're able to widen the passage once again and link to the two nearly cut off masses of Scarlet's forces. But Tourmaline, she has grown used to how her mother attacks. Her mother attacks with speed, not with power, and that is started to catch up with her mother, because now Tourmaline, she knows that a large bulk of healthy, well-fed forces are now surrounding the southern portion of the portal and the corridor. So what she does is she now knows that there is a settlement on this large chunk of land. So what she does is she launches a overseas raid of this land, and she lands in southwest England, and she starts to send her forces northeast, and they continue to push and they continue to push. This catches the Scarlet followers off guard, and they are completely outnumbered. They don't have the forces. They don't have the numbers, and so they get completely and utterly completely and utterly obliterated, and they capitulate to Tourmaline, who announces that she has taken the settlement in England. News of this finally comes back to Scarlet, and this enrages her, and she then launches most of her army through the portal, and they expand extremely aggressively, and they just carry on expanding and carry on expanding. But trust is starting to waver within the Skyrim ranks, within Scarlet's ranks. Skyrings are starting to question if Scarlet is truly a leader to be feared, because they've already watched Scarlet's daughter beat her twice. And so you start to have these pop-ups of defective Skyrings who start to pop up in Skyrim ranks, and they just start to grow, and it starts to grow, and it starts to catch speed, and before you know it, you have huge swaths of Skyrings who are either surrendering to Tourmaline's forces, or are actually joining Tourmaline's army in fighting against Scarlet. Scarlet quickly realizes that she is losing grip on her army. She's losing the war against her daughter's kingdom, and so she orders that the Skyrings, who are still fiercely loyal to her, to throw everything they can at these, as she would refer to as traitors. And so they try and fight as much as they can, but because there's more and more Skyrings who are defecting to Tourmaline's side, because Tourmaline is showing to be more of a leader or a queen who cares more about her subjects than herself. More and more Skyrings are defecting, and before you know it, Scarlet's forces are pushed all the way back to where they started. At this point, higher up dragons are telling Scarlet that this is no use. There is no use with fighting anymore. Scarlet has lost this battle once again. She has lost for the third time, and she's losing more and more trust within her home kingdom. But it's not as much because she is manipulating the news that comes out, and she is telling the Skywings, who she trusts a lot, to basically lie to the population of Skywing Kingdom and say that they are winning. And so you get these fluctuations of trust dying down and then trust coming back up. And so she fully retreats her forces back into the Skywing Kingdom, and Tourmaline and her forces and her kingdom celebrate their third victory. They absolutely adore this victory. They are completely over the moon with this victory, that they have pushed back the Skywing Kingdom, who was not only the strongest kingdom, but also the most feared kingdom, back through the portal back to their homeland. Celebrations are thrown, and they are thrown with amazement. The captured loyalist Skywing settlement village is taken over and taken control. And so now a few weeks pass, and Tourmaline starts to put forth some more settlements for trade. But what she does then is she then sets up a, how would you pull it? A perimeter around the portal. Oh dear. Perimeter around the portal. Hopefully I can get this. Let me just sort this out. Perimeter around the portal, so we're going to just do this. I'm actually going to put that there. Oops. And then we're going to, oops, that, and then we're just going to put this here. Like so. So there is now a barrier which is really aiming to keep the Skywings out of her kingdom and just to protect her subjects. So there is now a perimeter around the let me think, around the portal, and this is going to be significantly harder for Scarlet's forces to come through. Let me just sort this out as well. Okay. Oops, it's the wrong color. I should really be doing this color and then drawing the shape like so. So now there are multiple villages around the area which are all connected through trade routes. And now Tourmaline then announces that she's going to split up her kingdom into separate states, if you will. So she splits up the this portion, and she makes sort of like a border, which looks like this, and she splits up this. We just fill out this border real quickly, make sure that it's perfect. So, and then she just starts to edit these borders, and the reason why she's doing this is she's going to start to install dragons to really control these regions, because she realizes that this kingdom is getting far too large. She is in control of the whole kingdom, but there will be sections of it that will be under sort of control of her daughters, because by now she would have had daughters and granddaughters. So these would be under the control of her daughters, and I'm just outlining all of these, just making sure that they seem fine. Oh god. So I'm just going to fill these in, make sure that they seem fine. My mouse does that, so I do apologise. Like so. And she just continues to break them up into their own zones of control, provinces, if you will. They will most likely call them something else, but we're going to call them provinces. And so these provinces will just show the parts that she has broken up. And they're not going to be overly small. They're not going to be like tiny. Not right now. They're just going to show the parts that have been split up by Tourmaline herself. Oh god. Keep on clicking the other button. Okay, there you go. So this is now broken up into what do you call it? Regions. And it just makes Tourmaline's life a little bit easier. Because now she doesn't have to have, like, she still has full control over her kingdom. It's just that she doesn't have to constantly have like that much of storm grid. So she puts So she puts some of her daughters in control of these zones, and she would probably give some of these zones a sort of um, independence. And I just realised I drew on the wrong layer. So she would give this one she would most likely give the southernmost one its independence. So something along the lines of this. So I'll just fill this in like so. And I'll just fill this in. Oh god. That's probably a bit too dark when you think about it. Oh god damn. I am messing everything up today. So she'll give this kingdom its independence. Will she keep it as a puppet? I don't think so. I think she'll probably keep it as a like its own independence and its own structure and everything. Why do you keep on doing that? Anyway, I'll just fill you in. And then you're going to fill in. No, you're not going to fill in because you're being a total donkey. Okay, so let's just fill you in manually. So the southern portion of the kingdom is given full independence, and quite a lot of Skywings in this area, they don't mind it at all because they know that it wasn't like a revolution or anything. It was a peaceful independence, and so they still have very close ties with Tourmaline. Just fill this in. So focus that, put that in, put that all in, put that in, put that in, put that in. Okay. So this kingdom now has independence from we would have to name this kingdom sooner or later. Now this has happened quite suddenly. And it's something that the Skywings welcome because they know that they're not completely splitting away from Tourmaline. They're just separate from her. But you will most likely get some kind of trade alliance, or you will get some kind of defensive alliance, or it will most likely be a trade because there's no real threats at the moment. And so the next place that Tourmaline would most likely give autonomous control is most likely the Italian peninsula, or maybe even this peninsula here. So if we change the color ever so slightly, it's slightly different color, so that's good. So just increase this. And I'll change the color of the capitals as well. But Tourmaline would give this kingdom its own independence as well. And they would most likely have a trade agreement with the main kingdom. So Tourmaline doesn't mind this one bit. Her daughter doesn't mind this one bit. And they are on very good terms. Tourmaline is also a lot older now. She's a lot more mature. Queen Scarlet has probably passed away due to age, but maybe not. So I'm just filling the rest of this in. Just making sure it looks okay. Okay. And then we're just going to fit in the rest of this here. Like so. And then we would most likely make this a what's the word? Make this a bit darker. Oh god damn it. Make that kingdom that color. And then make this kingdom a little bit darker, and then paint the capital in that color. So we now have a thing that's happened where Tourmaline has given two of her daughters zones of control, full independence as their own kingdom. And this is something that her daughters, again, very much like. Anyway, this video is getting quite long, and I do apologise if it is quite long. So the situation is, there has been 3 battles against Scarlet's forces. All 3 times Scarlet lost. Scarlet became more and more desperate to retain control, and she was actually losing control of her forces back home. So now Tourmaline has got wise, and she's built a perimeter around where the portal lies, and she's also annexed the whole settlement, which was made by the large group of Skywings, Scarlet loyalist Skywings who broke away, who were able to escape after the first attempt. So, thank you guys for watching this video. If you did, like this video, give a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give a thumbs down. Put in the comment section what you think we should name these kingdoms, because any names would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, I'm going to see you guys later. Peace!